You see those golden arches literally everywhere, right? In practically every corner of the world. But the story behind them is so much more than just a successful restaurant. It is an absolute masterclass in business innovation and system design. So let's dive right into this explainer and look at exactly how the modern fast food industry was built from the ground up. Before we get into the nitty-gritty details, I want you to just keep this core question in the back of your mind. How did a single small burger stand in California completely rewrite the rules of the global restaurant industry? Because let me tell you, it certainly didn't happen by accident. It took a radical, fundamental shift in how food was prepared and sold. Here's our roadmap for today. We're going to move chronologically through 5 distinct phases: the San Bernardino Spark, the Speedy service system, Ray Kroc taking over, expanding the iconic menu, and finally, adopting to a modern world. Okay, kicking things off with part 1, the San Bernardino Spark. Let's set the stage in California. To really understand that initial spark, we first have to look at how rapidly America was changing. You had growing cities in the early 1900s, and then this massive, explosive rise of car culture by the 1920s. This created an unprecedented demand for quick, affordable convenience. People were constantly on the move. Searching for opportunity in this new landscape, 2 ambitious brothers, Dick and Mac McDonald, headed out to California. By 1940, they had successfully opened their very first restaurant in San Bernardino. Which brings us to part 2, the Speedy service system, and what was a truly radical pivot in 1948. So, despite running a steady, reliable business, the brothers noticed something super fascinating in their sales data. Hamburgers were far and away their top seller. And this realization, it led to a dramatic and, frankly, counterintuitive decision. Before 1948, they had this sprawling barbecue menu, tons of different items, classic traditional restaurant service. But realizing customers ultimately just wanted speed and simplicity, they did the unthinkable. They temporarily closed down a highly profitable restaurant. When they reopened, they completely flipped the script. We're talking a tiny menu focused strictly on burgers and maximum uncompromising efficiency. They called it the Speedy service system, and it was a total game changer. It fundamentally redesigned how a commercial kitchen could operate, basically turning a traditional restaurant into a high-speed assembly line. It was a revolutionary concept, focusing entirely on that limited menu and a kitchen optimized for pure, unadulterated speed. The mechanics here were honestly like Henry Ford's car factories, but for food. They slashed the menu down to just hamburgers, fries, and drinks. They organized the kitchen like a literal factory floor, assigning highly specific, infinitely repeatable tasks to every single worker. The result? Well, families were getting their meals faster than ever before, and prices stayed incredibly low. Just think about the anatomy of their classic burger for a second. Fresh buns, beef patties, pickles, onions, ketchup, mustard. Absolutely nothing complicated about it, just a perfect, simple stack. They realized early on that executing a few simple ingredients flawlessly and doing it at lightning speed was vastly superior to cooking up a massive menu with just mediocre results. But, they didn't just stop at the burger. They absolutely obsessed over the French fry. They rigorously tested all these different types of potatoes and endlessly experimented with cooking methods until they nailed that beloved signature texture. You know the one, crisp on the outside, perfectly soft on the inside. And that relentless pursuit of consistency, it was about to pay off in a massive way. Moving right along to part 3, Ray Kroc takes over and becomes the catalyst for a national franchise. Naturally, word of their incredible local success started to spread, eventually reaching a milkshake machine salesman named Ray Kroc. What really caught his eye was a highly unusual order. While most standard restaurants were ordering, just one milkshake machine, the McDonald brothers ordered several. This anomaly totally piqued Kroc's curiosity. He felt he simply had to travel out to California to see this high-volume operation for himself. And when Kroc arrived, he was absolutely blown away by the efficiency and just the sheer volume of customers. While the brothers had built an incredible local system, Kroc saw a nationwide empire. His vision was all about absolute consistency. The food had to taste perfectly familiar whether a customer was grabbing a bite in California or out in Illinois. For Kroc, extreme standardization was the key to infinite scalability. So Kroc rapidly accelerated expansion. In 1954, he became their franchise agent, hitting the road to recruit owners. By 1955, he opened the famous Des Plaines, Illinois location. Now, while Kroc and the brothers did eventually clash over their differing visions for the company's future, Kroc ultimately purchased the business rights outright in the 1960s. He took the company public, and he sent growth straight into the stratosphere. All right, part 4, expanding the iconic menu well beyond that basic hamburger. With the operational blueprint completely set in stone and those golden arches popping up all across the country, the next critical phase was expanding to capture entirely new markets. Remember, they started with just that simple hamburger back in 1948, but the menu evolved dramatically. In 1967, the Big Mac hit the scene and became an instant sensation. By the 1970s, they conquered mornings, which is notoriously difficult for restaurants, by the way, with the Egg McMuffin. And later on, Chicken McNuggets proved they could apply those exact same speedy principles to entirely new proteins and flavor profiles. But here's the thing, it wasn't just the food that expanded. It was their whole cultural footprint. Family-friendly marketing became a huge strategy, utilizing colorful mascots like Ronald McDonald. To really cement their place in everyday American life, they built a massive brand identity aimed directly at families. They made a trip to their restaurants an actual event for kids, not just a quick meal.
And finally, part 5, adapting to a modern world and maintaining that global dominance.
To maintain dominance in an increasingly complex world, they had to balance rigid structure with vital flexibility. They executed massive international expansion across continents by relying on strict, standardized employee training, but simultaneously introduced localized menu items to cater to different cultural tastes all over the world. Furthermore, they revolutionized convenience all over again by heavily investing in the drive-thru. This generated enormous sales from customers who literally never even stepped out of their cars. Of course, being at the absolute top brings intense scrutiny. When health experts started raising serious concerns over fast food contributing to unhealthy diets, the company didn't just plug their ears and ignore the criticism. In response, they impartially adapted. They added salads to the menu, made nutritional information widely available, and started offering health-conscious options to meet shifting consumer demands. And the crazy thing is, they haven't stopped evolving. Their technological shift recently has been massive. We're talking introducing mobile applications to simplify ordering, installing self-service kiosks right inside the restaurants, and expanding access through major delivery partnerships. Adapting to digital consumer habits today proves that their underlying operational system is just as flexible now as it was way back in 1948. So, what is the crucial takeaway from this whole explainer? It's the enduring formula itself. Combining a simple idea with extreme efficiency, ironclad consistency, and a relentless ambition. This isn't just a story about hamburgers, folks. It's a true masterclass in operational innovation. It shows exactly how observing consumer habits and applying rigorous systems can literally change an entire industry. I'm going to leave you with this final thought to ponder. As consumer tastes and technologies continue to shift faster than ever before, what will those golden arches look like tomorrow? I hope this structured look into the blueprint of an empire has sparked your curiosity to learn even more about the systems that build our modern world.